So a lot of bikers are becoming motovloggers and are looking for the best motovlog setup and settings and all that good stuff. That's what this video is for you. I got you, okay? Trust me. My name is Zenith. I've been motovlogging for like 2 years now, so I've got my handle on the situation here. Now, before we get into the whole spiel about motovlogging, what is motovlogging? Basically exactly what it sounds like. It's 2 words put together: motorcycles and vlogging. Motovlogging. So it's basically just vlogging on a motorcycle, which is fun. You know, you get to enjoy the scenery, talk about the scenery, let your words flow, baby. That's all I do while riding a motorcycle. So it's the best of both worlds for some of us out here. But basically, I know everybody's going to be asking, okay, what equipment do you need to start motovlogging? Now, a lot of YouTubers and a bunch of different niches will say equipment doesn't matter, just get out there and do it. When it comes to motovlogging, there's not really a cheap way to do it, especially if you're starting out and you're tight on money. But I will tell you the way I started getting into it and how you can also sort of navigate your way into that same route, and then you can upgrade from there. Okay, so first things first, you need a camera to record. I'm gonna cut out all the stuff of, like, you know, you need a motorcycle obviously and you need gear and all that stuff, but you need a camera. Okay, I personally use the GoPro Hero 10 Black. All of the newer GoPros are pretty much the same thing with minor upgrades, and, you know, screens look different and stuff and whatever. But it's pretty much the same thing. Just get your hands on a GoPro. I would say the 10th model up is good. You can get it for about, shoot, I don't even know, used maybe like 300 bucks, 200 bucks. So it's not horrible. And if you want to motovlog with sound, like I do, with like a mic attached, which is what I do, like I just said, I'm sorry, I just repeated myself, you're gonna need a microphone. So I personally use the Purple Panda microphone. Now you can search it on Amazon. This is the cheapest part of it. It's great. It's like 30 bucks and it sounds half decent for a $30 mic. It's not bad. So that's what I use. Now, as you probably know, if you've used GoPro before, they're a pretty stingy company, so you can't just plug and play the mic, obviously. There's other options out there, such as the DJI Osmo Action 5, where you can just pretty much plug and play. But for you GoPro guys out there, I'm going to speak on that because that's what I use. You need this thing called a GoPro Media Mod. It's about $50 or so. You can get it at Best Buy or Amazon or whatever. They sell them pretty much anywhere you can find a GoPro, but it basically attaches to the GoPro, so it'll make it a little bit bulkier, and it's got different attachments. So there's different ports for like charging and microphones and all that stuff. I haven't touched any of the other ports other than obviously charging, but the microphone port. So you can plug in the Purple Panda microphone directly into your GoPro, which is nice. And then it'll pick up audio just fine. It's just one little cord, simple as that. Now, you might be wondering, how do I wire this nonsense? That's a great question, because based on how you wire your GoPro mic will change the sound quality. So if I move my mic even an inch, you can tell that it sounds a little bit different. So I've got mine positioned pretty much where I like it. So the microphone itself, right, the Purple Panda we just talked about, it's in the chin section of my helmet, and it has a windsock on it. So you might be like, so Zenith, you're technically just making out with a caterpillar while you ride motorcycles. Absolutely I am. But that's part of the suffering you have to go through. Now it depends on your helmet and how big your face is and all that stuff, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend using a windsock. Purple Panda comes with it, so that's great. There's also other mic options. The Rode lavalier mic is a good one. That's what Jack Stevens uses if you like his quality. It comes with a pop filter on there as well. I don't like it as much just because of the shape of the cable itself that plugs into the GoPro. Is a little bit thicker, a little bit bulkier, so the GoPro has to be pushed further away from your helmet, which is kind of annoying, in my opinion, based on the way I have my GoPro set up. I could probably remount it and figure it out, but I'm just going to use what I use until it doesn't work anymore. And now let's go to the next section. Okay, so you've got your camera and you got your mic, and you figured out how to make your mic work with your camera, but now you have all these cords, and how the heck do I attach my GoPro to my helmet? Well, that's great. Okay, so there's a couple companies out there. Motorad or Chin Mounts are the big ones. I personally use Chin Mount, not sponsored or anything. I think their product is mediocre, but they're like the only ones on the market that do it. So it's basically just a tiny little piece of 3D printed plastic that sticks onto the chin of your helmet, and it's based on your helmet model, so it's a direct fit, which is nice. The only reason I was slightly dissing on the brand is because A, it's 3D printed, and they sell it for $35, which is kind of ridiculous because it costs some pennies to make. And then the adhesive on it you know, I can't say too much about it. Mine's fallen off before, which is annoying. I mean, you know, adhesive is adhesive. It's not permanent, so I won't diss them on that. But it's a decent product. It's just a little expensive for what it is, in my opinion. But anyways, you can attach that to the chin section of your helmet. A lot of people prefer the chin as to oppose like the forehead of the helmet, just because it's easier to route the microphone itself. You don't have as many problems and cables hanging out. So I put it on the chin, attach it there, and then mount it up just like you would any other GoPro mount. And then you have the mic wire. Now, what do you do with that mic wire? It's ugly, it's hanging out everywhere, it's flopping in the wind. What I recommend, which I'll put a video on screen if I haven't already, is you route it underneath the cheek pad of your helmet. So that's where all the wires are bunched up. Similar if you've ever installed a Cardo unit on your helmet or a Sena or anything like that. It's the same thing, you just tuck the wires wherever they can fit. And now with the wires sticking out to the side, I routed it through these little cable management things just so it holds it in place a little bit, so that the little bit of wire that is exposed to the outside world isn't flapping around on my helmet making a bunch of noise and ruckus. So that's great. That's what I do. Okay, so now your helmet's all set up, you're good to go, good to start recording. But what do you record? Now that's when I can't tell you what to do, okay? Come on, that's not fun. That's when the creative freedom comes into play. Just kind of mess around. Go ride somewhere you've never ridden before, talk about things you never talk about before, and then you kind of end up doing what I do, which is this for a living, which is great. Now, there is one more thing I will point out, okay? Whenever you set up your microphone and your helmet and all this, it's gonna be very finicky. It depends on the person, okay? There's a lot of preferences that go into it. A lot of people like a louder mic, a lot of people like a quieter mic. It depends if you're going for ASMR rides, if you want engine noise, things like that. Now, I will point out, okay, it's gonna take a few adjustments, but that's okay. You know, and it also depends on your helmet. If your helmet lets a lot of wind in, then your mic might pick up a lot more wind noise. But that's when the windsock comes into play, and that helps a little bit as well. I want to say something specifically towards people who don't want to do audio in their footage in the sense of their voice being recorded, but you probably would want to pick up some engine noise. So how do you record your engine without getting the wind and stuff like that in the way? Now what I've done, and what a lot of the motorcycle world has done, is put a microphone in your backpack. So instead of putting it in the chin section of your helmet, just route it towards your back and find a way to navigate the wires up your backpack strap and just put it in a pocket of your backpack. That way your body blocks the wind noise, but the exhaust note still comes out from behind you, so the mic can still pick that up from behind you. It's brilliant. It's really easy. So if you ever see those exhaust clips and you're like, how do they get that? At a standstill, you know, you can put the mic closer to the exhaust as long as you're not picking up any popping from it and all that due to overload of noise. But with riding and stuff, just throw it in your backpack. It's good to go. All right, that's brilliant. So you've got your mic set up, you got the camera, you're good to go, you've recorded your first video. Now what do you do? Well, this comes the boring part, in my opinion. Some people enjoy this. I don't. You gotta edit it. You gotta edit the footage. Come on. I know, it's horrible, but there's some easy ways to go about it. An application I highly recommend for beginners is CapCut. I know this is kind of frowned upon, it's a TikTok application, it's mediocre at best, as people say, right? But they're updating it a lot to where it's almost starting to compete with these higher end editing programs. And it's super user-friendly, easy to use, which is kind of the goal of it. Now, if you want to do some more complex edits, a lot more cinematic stuff, I'd recommend Premiere Pro. It's going to take a little bit to learn, but once you get your hands on it, it's the same as all the other Adobe network, right? You try to learn Photoshop, it sucks for the beginning of the time that you're learning, but then once you figure it out, it's like, okay, I kind of get the hang of this. And then it's kind of the same thing with Premiere, and you can, you know, keyboard shortcuts are kind of the same, and you just figure it out. Then you can upload it, right? So if you have a horizontal film video, post it on YouTube. If you have a vertical form video, you can post that up on TikTok, Instagram, Reels, whatever you want. In my experience, if you're looking to grow on social media, this will be a whole other video for another time, but horizontal videos on vertical platforms like TikTok don't do very well because the format just looks kind of ugly, and to the viewer you're just like, okay, just a throwaway video, swipe away. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. You have the ugly black bars. Even if you blur the top and bottom of the video, it still looks ugly. So I would record in the format that you plan to post the video on. That's just my 2 cents on that situation. But anyways, with all that out of the way, I'm currently riding to Denton, Texas, because why not? I'm on this nice, beautiful, straight highway, and it's incredibly windy out today, but the weather is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's like 72 degrees, and you just cannot go wrong. It would be a sin not to take the bike out today, right? That's what I'm doing. It's been a minute since I've ridden this bike, actually. You probably might not notice because I post, you know, every other day on TikTok and once or twice a week on YouTube, so but I usually set like a day or two aside for recording and then just spend the rest of the week editing, because in Texas, especially during this time, our riding month doesn't start until like October, November, because the weather is just so hot and it's miserable to ride in, at least for me personally. There's some crazy guys out here who ride year-round. I'm just not like that. I'm sorry I'm a little sissy boy, but it is what it is. You can't control it, can you? But anyways, I just have a straight highway shot for now, so I'm just going to enjoy that on my own time. If you appreciated this video, if it helped you out at all, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to help you out. And if you have issues with it, I've done my fair share of troubleshooting in the industry, if you will. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy, Zenith. I'm so sorry. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.